special permission from the authority having jurisdiction, or OJ, is typically granted is a written document. This document details the conditions and limitations of the permission, specifying necessary modifications or deviations from code. For example, special permission might be granted to install a temporary electrical system for a special event or construction project. It could also allow the use of non-listed or non-approved electrical products or equipment. Deviations from code requirements for accessibility or safety reasons might also require special permission. Likewise, permission to extend the time frame for completing an electrical upgrade or repair could also require special permission. Large or complex electrical installations often require review by the AHJ and may be subjected to special permission. Installations involving potential hazards or risks that require mitigation, and those that deviate significantly from code requirements and pose a potential safety concern, also fall under this category. Furthermore, installations that necessitate special inspections or testing by the AHJ often require special permission. AHJ special permission can assist in resolving code violations or discrepancies that cannot be addressed through standard code interpretation. It also helps in obtaining alternative solutions to code requirements that meet the intent of the code but provide flexibility or practicality. Expediting the approval process for time-sensitive electrical projects and providing guidance on specific code requirements or interpretation when they are unclear or ambiguous are additional ways in which AHJ special permission assists. Special permission is generally granted on a case-by-case basis and is subject to the discretion of the AHJ. The AHJ may require additional information, documentation, or testing before granting special permission. It is important to follow the conditions and limitations of the special permission carefully and ensure that the installation complies with all applicable code requirements. The written document usually outlines the specifics of the permission, including what is allowed and what restrictions apply. It's crucial to adhere to these guidelines to maintain compliance and safety. Large-scale electrical projects frequently require a thorough review by the AHJ. This ensures that the design and installation meet safety standards and comply with the NEC. Installations with potential hazards, such as those involving higher voltage or flammable materials, will likely be subject to special permission. Mitigation strategies and safety measures must be clearly outlined and approved by the AHJ. When an installation deviates significantly from the standard code requirements, special permission is necessary. This could involve using alternative wiring methods, equipment, or designs. Installations requiring specialized inspections or testing, beyond the typical scope, often need special permission. This might include inspections of critical systems or testing of new technologies. AHJ special permission can be instrumental in resolving code-related issues that arise during a project. When standard code interpretation doesn't provide a clear solution, the AHJ can offer guidance and approve alternative approaches. Obtaining alternative solutions to code requirements is another area where special permission is valuable. This allows for flexibility in design and installation while still meeting the overall intent of the code. In time-sensitive projects, special permission can expedite the approval process, preventing delays and keeping the project on schedule. The AHJ can also provide clarification on ambiguous code requirements, ensuring that the installation meets the necessary standards. Remember that special permission is not a blanket waiver of code requirements. It is a tailored solution for specific situations, and it always comes with conditions and limitations. Before starting any electrical project that might require special permission, it's advisable to consult with the AHJ. This can help avoid potential problems and ensure a smooth approval process. Providing detailed documentation, plans, and specifications can also expedite the review process. Be prepared to answer questions and provide additional information as requested by the AHJ. Following the conditions and limitations of the special permission is crucial for maintaining compliance and safety. Failure to do so could result in fines, project delays, or even legal action. The AHJ role is to ensure public safety and to enforce the electrical code. Special permission is a tool that allows for flexibility and innovation while still maintaining those safety standards. Understanding the process and requirements for obtaining special permission can be beneficial for electrical contractors, engineers, and anyone involved in electrical installations. Firstly, it's important to understand what constitutes an authority having jurisdiction. This term refers to the organization, office, or individual responsible for enforcing the requirements of a code or standard, or for approving equipment, materials, and installation, or a procedure. Secondly, the AHJ can vary depending on the location and type of project. It might be a local building department, a fire marshal, an insurance company, or even an employer's safety department. Thirdly, special permission is not intended to circumvent the code. It is meant to address situations where strict adherence to the code is impractical or impossible, or where an alternative approach can provide an equivalent level of safety. Fourthly, when seeking special permission, it's crucial to present a well-reasoned and documented case. This should include a clear explanation of why special permission is needed, a detailed description of the proposed alternative, and evidence that the alternative provides an equivalent level of safety. Fifthly, the AHJ will typically review the request and may request additional information, conduct inspections, or consult with other experts. Sixthly, the AHJ decision is final, and there is usually no formal appeals process. However, it's often possible to discuss the decision with the AHJ and to explore alternative solutions. Seventhly, it's important to remember that special permission is not a right, it is a privilege. The AHJ has the authority to deny a request for special permission if they believe that it would compromise safety or violate the intent of the code. Eighthly, even if special permission is granted, it's essential to document the approval and to keep it on file. This will be important for future inspections and for demonstrating compliance with the code. Ninthly, special permission is often required for temporary electrical installations such as those used for construction sites or special events. Tenthly, it may also be needed for installations that involve experimental or innovative technologies. When dealing with special permission, it's important to be patient, persistent, and professional. Building a positive relationship with the AHJ can be beneficial in the long run. By understanding the process and requirements for obtaining special permission, and by presenting a well-reasoned and documented case, it's possible to achieve a successful outcome. Remember that the goal is to ensure safety and compliance, while also allowing for flexibility and innovation in electrical installations. A temporary electrical system for a special event often requires AHJ approval. This ensures that the system is safe and meets code requirements for the duration of the event. This might include things like proper grounding, overcurrent protection, and wiring methods. Using non-listed equipment typically requires special permission. This equipment hasn't been tested and certified by a recognized testing laboratory, so the AHJ needs to evaluate its safety and suitability. Deviating from code requirements for accessibility may be necessary in certain situations. For example, if a building has physical constraints that make it impossible to meet accessibility standards, special permission might be granted to provide an alternative solution. Extending the timeframe for electrical work might be necessary due to unforeseen circumstances, such as material shortages or weather delays. The AHJ can grant permission to extend the deadline provided that the safety of the installation is not compromised. Large or complex installations need AHJ review. This allows the AHJ to identify potential hazards and ensure that the installation is properly designed and installed. Installations with potential hazards may require special permission. This could include things like working near energized equipment, dealing with hazardous materials, or installing equipment in potentially explosive environments. Installations deviating from code requirements require special permission because they pose a safety concern. This ensures that the alternative design or method meets the intent of the code and provides an equivalent level of safety. Installations requiring special inspections or testing may need permission. This could be due to the complexity of the installation or the use of new or unfamiliar technologies. Resolving code violations sometimes requires AHJ assistance. The AHJ can provide guidance on how to correct the violation and ensure that the installation meets code requirements. Obtaining alternative solutions also requires AHJ input. This allows for flexibility in design and installation while still meeting the overall intent of the code. Expediting project approvals may involve the AHJ. This can help to keep the project on schedule and minimize delays. Providing code interpretation may also involve the AHJ. This ensures that the installation is properly designed and installed in accordance with the code. Remember to always document any special permission that is granted. This will be helpful for future inspections and for demonstrating compliance with the code. The authority having jurisdiction has the final say on whether or not to grant special permission. It is important to respect their decision and to work with them to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant.